Okay, I just thought I'd kind of answer your questions. Here again, this is where we put the filler. You can kind of see here, I put the filler in here and up here. And then of course, that's not a real pretty pinked edge, but instead it's just gonna blend up into the tube when we get the paint on it. Use the iron and I just kind of iron the edge down where it's smooth. But anyway, you can see the fabric here. And this is what I'm talking about. I take the fabric and of course here is your slot for your windows. And again, your D windows are gonna go in here and here, and they're gonna come up forward, just forward of this tube right here, so that this window is gonna come over this way here and be, on this tube. There'll actually be a piece of tape that you'll put on this tube, and then the window will actually mount up on that two-way tape right there. So yeah, it needs to be open and clear, but fill this in just so it looks good, even though the window's gonna be over it, and then you're gonna probably paint up a couple of inches on this. Even if you leave it square, you'll do that if you don't paint the D in here, because where your engine is, the windshield trim piece will come around to here, and then your window is going to come down and overlap this part a little bit. And so then you'll make where the bottom of the window is, you'll have it match the trim for the windshield that comes around here. So you're going to paint the bottom of the window here, which of course you'll carry back through to your D window here. So the bottom part of this is going to be all painted. You're not going to see any of this stuff in through here because it's going to be covered by a painted window. But anyway, I still like to do it and just make a nice transition. Then the fabric, I go over here. Like I was saying, I do not. They say for some reason in the deal to put a, pre-glue this 1 inch down from here, and then to pre-glue the front edge of this panel. I would not do that, or I always have, but I didn't do it because I got to thinking, why am I doing that? There's really no reason. You're installing the fabric, you're going to go in here and tuck it into the windows. You're on the bottom install, so all you do is I take the fabric. This is the bottom of what the windowsill will be. The interior panel here, this the carbon fiber, will come up and it will wrap over the top and come to this edge. So none of this will be seen from this point forward over here. So I do not pre-glue that. I just go ahead and as I'm taking the fabric, I just put a glue down across the top right here, take the fabric, it's sticking out here, and just pull it down nice and smooth it down. That way you can pull it out nice and tight pretty tight to start with. I never pull fabric tight. That's most of the time you don't, because if you do, you're gonna make it wrinkles. I just pull it where you get most of the bagginess out of it. But anyway, come over here, glue it down nice, and then just come back with a razor and razor this edge off. And then later when you put your panels in, it'll come up here and come over that edge and look real nice. There's no glue line, and the reason you pre-glue areas is like when you're coming up here to do these windows, you got to work with them till you get them glued in. So we pre-glue these areas here because you can come over here, then you can put the MEK through it while you got the fabric, holding the fabric just kind of tight, and then that'll hold it until you can come up here before you shrink it and get it glued in nicely into these corners. But you don't need to do that here because you're just simply going to take the edge of it and glue it right down as you go, just like anywhere else. And so when you put a glue line, when you put a tape down there and you put that glue in there and then put the MEK over it, you're going to see that line, okay, on a finished airplane. I've always hated that. I've tried my best to get it out, and I've always hated it. So on this one, I didn't do it. So I thought a little bit out of the box. Like, why are they telling you to do that? Because there's no need for it whatsoever. Pull it up here, do it there, leave this all. There's no glue on this at all. Of course, I got the first coat of poly brush. I just put on, I'm getting ready to spray. This was brushed in, so the second coat I'm getting ready to spray on now. So, I know it looks kind of funny because the poly brush kind of makes these different colors, but it is absolutely smooth. There's no glue line on here to see. Same thing here. We used to always pull, they tell you in the video shows you, pull this fabric up here and glue it around some of these tubes to hold it while you shrink it. The boot cowl is going to be a 1/2 inch over this edge here. So what everybody started doing, even the factory's doing it too now, I guess, is instead of bringing it forward and putting it on the tubes, We're just wrapping it around the back side of the fabric spacer here. You see you got all that room right there, so you just do the same thing. You just take your hand, just kind of pull it till the wrinkles are out. You know, you got it glued, and just wrap it and glue it right there. So there's no need for a glue line here. Same thing, it always showed up. You run a 1-inch glue line, when you look down there, you'll always see that glue line. It looks different than a regular poly brush. So anyway, I just thought I'd go over that, you know, right quick while I was doing that. Here is not that important. Again, your interior panel is going to go up here and go over this side. And then, of course, your boot cowl is coming 1/2 inch over here and coming up through here. So you're not going to see any of that right there, or the first 1/2 inch here where the boot cowl is going to go. The other areas, you know, you do have some transitions, you know, like this. You can see through it, but you see it's really not even touching it. But that's the stringer going across that tube. These tubes are actually in just a little bit.